For over a decade, one man has owned the dream of Mars: Elon Musk. He's built rockets, made bold promises, and even sold flamethrowers to fund it. In the public imagination, Mars was always his prize. But here is the twist no one saw coming. This year, the first private company to launch a NASA mission to Mars wasn't SpaceX at all. It was Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin. Yes, the billionaire best known as founder of Amazon just beat the giant who promised to make us an interplanetary species. And the battleground for this upset is a small but important mission called ESCAPADE. 2 satellites, twin explorers, head into orbit Mars to study its invisible magnetic field. A modest science mission, but a symbolic victory, because the rocket carrying them isn't a Falcon, it's Blue Origin's massive New Glenn. Think about that for a second. After years of Elon Musk promising Mars, it's Jeff Bezos who just got the first ticket there. It's like a space race sequel nobody expected. But how did this happen? Why did NASA choose Blue Origin for this mission instead of SpaceX, the company practically built on Martian ambition? And what does it mean for the future of the Red Planet? In this episode, we are diving into the strange twist in the modern space race, where Amazon's founder has just stolen a march on Musk, and the road to Mars may not look the way we imagined. Before we talk about billionaire rivals, let's talk about the little mission at the center of it all: ESCAPADE. On the surface, it doesn't sound like much. 2 satellites, each about the size of a mini fridge, hitching a ride on a rocket to Mars. No astronauts, no rovers, no Hollywood-level drama. But don't let the size fool you. ESCAPADE is one of the most important small missions NASA has ever planned. The name itself stands for Escape and Plasma Acceleration and Dynamics Explorers. And that's exactly what these twin spacecrafts are built to do: study the invisible forces tearing at Mars's atmosphere. Because here is the big mystery. Billions of years ago, Mars may have looked a lot like Earth. It had rivers, lakes, maybe even oceans. But something went horribly wrong. Today, Mars is a frozen desert with an atmosphere so thin you couldn't survive on its surface without a spacesuit. What happened? The leading theory is that Mars lost its protective magnetic field. Without that shield, the solar wind, a constant stream of charged particles from the Sun, ripped away its atmosphere, molecule by molecule. ESCAPADE will orbit Mars and measure how that process works today. In other words, these 2 little satellites are flying detectives chasing the crime scene of a planet that may have once been habitable. But there is more. The data from ESCAPADE isn't just about the past, it's about the future. If we want to send humans to Mars, to build bases, grow food, maybe even terraform the planet one day, we need to understand how deadly space weather really is. ESCAPADE's measurements could tell us whether Mars is a planet we can live on or a world that will always fight to push us away. So yes, it may be small, but the stakes couldn't be bigger. ESCAPADE is more than just another probe, it's a mission that could unlock the story of Mars and decide whether humanity has a future there. Now, here is the part that caught everyone off guard. NASA had to decide who would carry ESCAPADE to Mars. On paper, the obvious answer seemed to be SpaceX. After all, SpaceX has been launching payloads to orbit and beyond for years. Falcon 9 is practically a workhorse. Falcon Heavy has the power to fling satellites towards the Moon and Mars. And Musk has made no secret that his ultimate goal is to colonize the Red Planet. So, why didn't NASA call SpaceX? The answer is timing, strategy, and believe it or not, politics. ESCAPADE's launch window is tight. To reach Mars efficiently, the satellites have to leave Earth at just the right time. Miss that window, and you're waiting another 26 months. NASA needed a rocket ready for the challenge. Enter New Glenn, Blue Origin's heavy lift rocket finally making its debut in 2025. NASA isn't just betting on the rocket, they are betting on diversity. Relying too much on a single company, even as dominant as SpaceX, is risky. By awarding Blue Origin the mission, NASA signals to the world that there is more than one player in town. It spreads the responsibility and the prestige across multiple companies. Cost also plays a role. Blue Origin reportedly offered a highly competitive deal. And let's not forget, Bezos has deep ties in Washington, with contracts already flowing from NASA and the US government. Politics and space exploration have always gone hand in hand. This is no different. The irony, of course, is juicy. For years, Musk has been the loudest voice proclaiming we must become a multiplanetary species. Yet the first NASA Mars mission of 2025 is being carried not by him, but by his biggest rival. Was this pure strategy on NASA's part? A calculated gamble to bring Blue Origin into the deep space game? Or is it simply the way the stars aligned? Either way, the message is clear. When it comes to Mars, SpaceX no longer has a monopoly on ambition. To really understand the shock of Blue Origin launching ESCAPADE, you need to know the story behind the rivalry. This isn't just two companies competing for contracts. It's two billionaires with radically different visions locked in a grudge match that's been simmering for decades. It started quietly. Jeff Bezos founded Blue Origin back in 2000, quietly funding a private rocket company while still building Amazon into an empire. His motto? Gradatim ferociter, step by step, ferociously. Slow, deliberate progress. By contrast, Elon Musk burst onto the scene in 2002 with SpaceX, a company that promised not just rockets but revolution. Musk was moving fast, broke things, and wasn't afraid to risk spectacular failures if it meant eventual success. For years, SpaceX dominated headlines. Successful landings of reusable boosters, Falcon Heavy roaring into the sky, Starlink satellites blanketing Earth's orbit. And of course, Musk's endless tweets about making Mars humanity's second home. Bezos, by comparison, seemed to be dragging his feet. Blue Origin's rockets were years late. Its orbital vehicle, New Glenn, remained a paper rocket while SpaceX was stacking Starships on launch pads. The internet memes wrote themselves. Bezos sold books, while Musk built Mars. But behind the scenes, the rivalry deepened. The two men clashed over patents, over launch contracts, or even NASA's Artemis lunar lander deal. In 2021, SpaceX won the contract to build a lander for the moon, and Blue Origin sued NASA, claiming the decision was unfair. Courts eventually sided with SpaceX, but the bitterness lingered. That's why ESCAPADE feels like such a twist. For once, Blue Origin isn't trailing behind. It's leading. Blue Origin's rocket is carrying a Mars mission before Musk's Starship has even completed a successful orbital campaign. It doesn't erase SpaceX's accomplishments, but it changes the narrative. Suddenly, the slow and steady turtle has taken a step ahead of the hare. Of course, the rivalry is far from over. SpaceX still has the most powerful rocket in history waiting in the wings, and Musk won't let Mars slip away so easily. But for now, Blue Origin gets to savor a rare win, and remind the world that the new space race isn't a one-man show. So what does all of this mean for the future of Mars exploration? Is Blue Origin's ESCAPADE launch a true changing of the guard, or just a symbolic win in a much bigger race? First, let's keep perspective. ESCAPADE is small. 2 satellites, lightweight, low cost, and purely scientific. Blue Origin will carry them to space, but this doesn't mean Bezos is about to plant a flag on Mars tomorrow. SpaceX still has the bigger hardware, the bolder vision, and a rocket, Starship, that on paper dwarfs everything else in capability. If Starship succeeds, it could carry entire bases to Mars, not just small probes. But ESCAPADE's importance isn't in its size, it's in its timing. By winning this contract, Blue Origin has finally proven it can play in the same league as SpaceX. For years, SpaceX was the only name in deep space missions. Now there is another contender. And for NASA, that's a win too. A future where multiple private companies compete to send payloads to Mars means cheaper launches, more innovation, and less risk if one provider stumbles. It also sets the stage for a much more interesting rivalry. Imagine this. A few years from now, SpaceX and Blue Origin both send in payloads and maybe even cruise towards Mars. 2 visions, 2 philosophies, racing to shape humanity's next chapter. It sounds like science fiction, but ESCAPADE shows it's already starting. On a deeper level, missions like ESCAPADE remind us that Mars isn't just a billionaire's playground. The data these satellites gather could answer one of science's biggest questions. Why Mars lost its atmosphere and whether it could ever be habitable again. That's knowledge humanity needs, no matter whose rocket delivers it. So while ESCAPADE may not be the giant leap Musk promised, it's still a crucial step. And in the story of Mars exploration, sometimes small steps matter most. For years, Mars was supposed to be Musk's stage. SpaceX was the company with the vision, the rockets, and the headlines. Jeff Bezos and Blue Origin, they were the underdog. Always a step behind, mocked for delays and cautious progress. And yet, this year it's Bezos' rocket that will carry NASA's latest Mars mission. Not SpaceX, not Starship, but Blue Origin's New Glenn. Does it mean Musk has lost the race? Not at all. If Starship succeeds, it will eclipse everything flying today. But Escapade reminds us that space exploration isn't a straight line. It's not just about who shouts the loudest or tweets the boldest promises. It's about who can deliver when the launch window opens. For NASA, this is a glimpse of the future. A marketplace of rockets, with multiple private companies competing to carry humanity's ambitions beyond Earth. For Blue Origin, it's proof that slow and steady can sometimes score the win. And for SpaceX, it's a reminder that Mars won't wait forever. In the end, maybe this rivalry is exactly what we need. Competition drives innovation. Ambition fuels progress. Whether it's Musk, Bezos, or a new player we haven't heard of yet, Mars doesn't care. The red planet is out there, waiting. One thing is certain. Escapade won't be the last mission to Mars. It's just the opening move in a much larger story. And if history has shown us anything, the future of space is rarely what we expect. Thank you for watching. Keep looking up.